Raleigh, North Carolina. How you doing this evening? How you doing? You already know. You have now entered the RDU Live Radio Show right here on Oak 93.5 WRLY. I'm your host, Cam McCarty. I appreciate you for tuning in. If you're listening out there on the roadways, out on 540 Glenwood, wherever you might be, go ahead, put that seatbelt on. It's bumper to bumper out there. It's rush hour traffic. Want to make sure you're staying safe. Reach over, turn us up, but make sure you're staying safe. And if you're out there on Facebook, YouTube, Live 365, wherever you might be, I want to say thank you as well. We appreciate you. Go ahead, put something in the comments. Let us know you're watching. Let us know you're listening. And don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. They say it helps the algorithm or something like that. And no matter where you're at, around the triangle or around the world, like I like to say, this is a call-in show. And that phone number is 919-899-9305. That's 919-899-9305. Look, we got a jam-packed show for you today. I'm sitting in the driver's seat here. We got somebody sitting across from me. We got Dr. Thomas Rashad Eas, all the above. How you doing over there?
Doing well, sir. I hope you are today.
I'm doing pretty good. I appreciate you for having this conversation with us.
Always, man. It's always good to see you, my friend.
Yeah. We're gonna be diving into all that you got going on. This is a traveled and very multi-layered individual we got sitting here. We got some music to talk about. We got a lot of things to talk about. So we're gonna be getting into that in just a second. But you already know when I'm sitting in this seat, we always start the show off with something that's real, that's relevant to the triangle of the world at large. And I'm going to keep it simple today. I'm going to keep it simple. You already know it's Tuesday. And you know what happens on a Tuesday? Over at Rhythm and Brews, CJ Baker is doing his thing. It's the open mic, CJ Baker's open mic. It starts up at around 9 o'clock. So around 9 to 9:45, he has a featured artist. And I believe tonight his featured artist is Dasan Hanu. And if you're in the area, you already know who that name is. He's a poet. He's a poet laureate. He's an educator himself. He does a lot in the area. So he's going to be doing his thing from about 9 to 9:45. And then after that, it's an open mic. You can put your name on the list. Bring your rhymes, bring your raps, bring whatever you got. And it's also a jam session. So you're playing, if you're doing some artistry, you're doing it in front of a live band. And that live band has a jam session. So, bring your instruments, all that good stuff. CJ Baker's open mic night, Rhythm and Brews, right outside of downtown Durham on Fayetteville Street, in between downtown Durham and NCCU.
There you go.
And a shameless plug here. Shameless plug. This coming up Saturday, July 5th, I want to say. Is that right? That's right. I always got to check with the producers in the back. Saturday, July 5th. We're going to be over at Crabtree. Was it Crabtree Park? Something like Lake Crabtree, something like that. And it's very informal. This is the first time I'm putting this out into the wide world. But we're going to be over there having a cookout, tailgate kind of thing. My birthday is July 2nd. So my parents are coming in town, and we're just going to be having a fun time. It is nothing formal, nothing crazy. We just decided to go to the park and invite other people. That's what we're doing. So if you're out and about, you're looking for some people to mingle with, you're looking for something, and they have like canoes and kayaks and all the good stuff. All the good stuff. I'm going to be taking part in the fishing. I like to fish. So, we're going to be out there doing our thing. All right. And I got to recap something that just happened back on Friday. This past Friday, we had our Flow Soul Vibrate show over at Bond Brothers, and it was an amazing show. We packed it out. It was a great lineup. We had an amazing time. We had artists outside and vendors and all the above, man. It was a really, really great show. So I want to give a special shout out to Bond Brothers Eastside for hosting us and having us there. Also to Rasta and Friends, that whole collective, everything that he has going on, he helped produce it, or we helped him produce it. Really, he did a lot of the legwork on it. And just want to give a quick shout out to that and all the artists that were a part of it. It was an amazing show. I guess I can name them real quick. So we had Rasta and Friends that performed. We had Godric. We had Juice Lord, 3 a.m., Elena Yvonne, CJ Monet, Millie.com, Saturday. It was an amazing show.
Oh.
It was an amazing show. And so I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that was on the bill, everybody that helped put that on, and the venue itself. There we go. I told you it was going to be quick today. I told you because I got somebody to talk to. It's not just me sitting up here pontificating. So we got Dr. Thomas Rashad Eas. So before the show, we had a little conversation. I'm like, how do I address you? How you want me? Because he does so much stuff. So, first and foremost, thank you for being here and having this conversation and sitting across from us.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here. I just want a little shout out. Like when you mentioned the son, I actually have a song with him. It's like my #1 song on all platforms.
Wow.
It's called What is a Leader 4.0.
Wow.
It's 4 of us, and he's the last MC on the song. So
wow.
It's an amazing track, I promise you.
Wow. Full circle. You see, this triangle community thing, we're going to kind of get into that in a little bit during this conversation.
Yes,
but so tell the people, in your own words,
Yes.
who are you? What do you do?
What's
Yeah. Give us something.
My second album, I describe myself first with that. So I call myself a Southern black gentleman.
There we go.
From Alabama, as you know. And I go ahead and let people know, born on the 4th of July. My birthday's on Friday.
That's why. Wow. See, July 2nd, right sitting in this. See, we got July 4th over there. There we go.
I am a forester. So I have a background in doing work in the, I want to say outside, because there's really no in the environment. It's outside.
Yeah.
I am a geneticist. I am an educator. Matter of fact, I'm an author. I brought my book, that I published right here. And that's just one of the things that I publish. I have articles and stuff.
Yeah.
But, no, you said, who am I? I'm a guy who's passionate about health. I'm a guy who's passionate about love of land, passionate about family, passionate about my relationship with the Most High.
Yeah.
And in my music, all of that actually comes out. Those things that I just mentioned, talking about health, the Most High, love of the land, and family. So my people.
Yeah. Yeah. So and this is why I let this thing off. Multifaceted. So we're gonna be digging into some of this. So I want to start off kind of with the music this time.
All right. Now.
So if you're watching out there, we got a podcast that's coming out real soon, actually. And so we're gonna be digging into a lot of that. But today I wanted to start off with the music.
All right.
What type of music do you make? Because we're going to get into some of it, but let the people know. Are you a hip-hop artist, R&B artist? Do you sing? Let the people know.
Okay. Well, we make Save Your Life music. Okay. I say we, and I'll get into the we, but, I guess, you asked about me. I make Save Your Life music.
Mm-hmm.
I say music because it started off with hip-hop, but I'm an instrumentalist. I play the trombone.
Okay.
So I play jazz music as well. I've been doing that longer than I've been rapping, actually. It's playing the trombone, okay? The music, there's a message involved. I consider myself a messenger. I consider my art to be, I know it's something it comes from within, but stimulated from things that are external as well. And so I like to make music now that I like to hear, which is educating people on how to live, educating people on how to think, not what to think, but how to think, and then educating them on how to take care of themselves. Now, we do it primarily through lyricism, hip hop, but on my new project coming up, there's everything. We have a soul song on there, we have an R&B song on there, we have a rock and roll song on there. So I consider myself a musician who makes Save Your Life music.
A musician who makes Save Your Life music.
You got it.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to throw you some softballs here.
Here we go. All right.
Throw you some softballs. So who are some of your inspirations? Because you know you call yourself, what is this, the Southern Gentleman?
Southern Black Gentleman.
The Southern Black Gentleman, and you know, as the people know, if you hadn't been listening to the show, now you're going to find out. You know, I'm from Mississippi myself. So
South, baby.
So, you know, we both from the South, and I kind of understand what you mean there, but I want you to kind of dig into that a little bit and how it kind of translates into your music.
Okay, well, yes. Well, so you asked about the influences, and I think that the influences change here and there.
Yeah, yeah.
Like lately, I've been listening to more Poor Righteous Teachers.
Okay.
So I love Wise Intelligence music. I've been listening, of course, to more Kendrick. Listening to the latest, GNX.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love listening to Rhapsody, because I love how brilliant she is, and of course J. Cole. So I'm going to represent North Carolina.
There we go.
But I always would tune back into Parliament Funkadelic, Earth, Wind, and Fire. So I listen to the Elements, Cool in the Game. Those are my three favorite as far as bands, especially in the 70s. My favorite band of all time is A Tribe Called Quest.
Okay.
And then of course my favorite crew of all time is the Dungeon Family.
The Dungeon Family.
You can't. Goody Mo B, the Outcast, and I'm good. I'm glad I can say I actually know them. And then,
wow.
And then of course my last influence I say is Wu-Tang. So as you can tell, everyone that I mentioned, from Poor Righteous Teachers, Wu-Tang, that's your 5%. So when you listen to my music, you're going to get that in there. But I mentioned the Dungeon Family and Kendrick, and also mentioned the Tribe Called Quest. So there's the fun aspect of making big music. And then I also mentioned Rhapsody, and Rhapsody is in my top 5 MCs, and I mentioned J. Cole. So it's also something that's regional, but also for the state. But remember I said originally I'm from Alabama.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I also for me, I'm going to say artists like Ruben Studdard. I actually went to school with him, so I know him actually. Eric Essex, I like jazz music. The band Alabama.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I listen to a number of
a wide variety of things. Yeah.
And wait a minute, that was the first question. Did I answer the second question? Was the second
question? No. So we're just talking. No.
Yeah, we just talking.
You answered all of it. Honestly, just kind of asking about who are your influences, like you said, and then I kind of brought in, where you're from, and does that influence your music, in a way?
It does. Well, being from the South.
Yeah.
And I've lived a lot of different places. Funny seeing the NC State right here. I've lived a number of different places where how I sound always comes up. Yeah. Just in the voice, and I'm like, it's not my fault that you don't sound as sexy as me, or it's us, what I'm saying? Coming from the South, okay? All right? But also coming from Alabama, growing up in the culture there, some of it we definitely still got going on now.
Right.
But I grew up, I aged myself, and I'm proud of it because age is a badge of honor. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. So I grew up during a time when when I was a kid, you couldn't interracially date until after 1999. Like, for real. Like, that didn't go down in Alabama.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. Yeah, in Alabama. And it happened everywhere else, dealing with cops stuff.
Yeah.
Me and my guys would be doing nothing. We got pulled out of cars, thrown on the ground, weren't doing anything. Said, you look like someone who I look like someone.
Been there,
you see.
Been there.
But then also an educator. My father is an engineer. A computer engineer. My mother is an educator. So, and my mother in particular was in the civil rights movement. So I grew up, and my uncle was the first field lieutenant appointed by King in the civil rights movement in Alabama, Reverend Dr. James Orange.
Yeah.
And my father integrated schools in Ohio when he was a kid. I don't even think he meant to do it, but my dad's just brilliant, and it ended up happening. He fought for Black Studies programs at Williams College up in Massachusetts, and then so like just having those kind of parents who did that and coming from that family, that is a lot of what you hear in my music. And coming from a family of ministers and preachers.
Yeah.
And stuff, so yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, so we're talking a lot about your music and a lot about what you sound like and all that kind of stuff. So I want to give the people a little bit of something. Can you give us a little prelude to ancestral worship?
Oh boy, yes I can, and I'm glad that you mentioned it. And I'm going to try to maintain because it's kind of a hard song for me because it was a dream that I had. Like, for real, the song is a dream. And my grandmother is the reason that I got into music. My grandmother played piano. My grandfather was a singer. He was in the quartet. He was in the gospel band. He was in the male chorus. and my grandmother was who I went to church with all the time, and my grandfather.
That's right.
The dream, my grandmother came to me in the dream. It was during the time, this was actually just a couple of years ago when I was battling with something, and her spirit came to me and basically let me know that things are going to be okay. And for real, I woke up and wrote down everything that she said. Like, I woke up and she came to me in our old church where she used to play the piano. So I'm looking at her in the choir stand as a little boy, talking to her. And so, I do still talk to my grandmother, my grandfather, and my uncles. I still talk to my ancestors. And as a person who was raised in the church, I also have been a Muslim too, so I can talk about that. But especially coming from the church, I think that aspect of our culture, and I'm talking about as people like, say, from the African diaspora, or also if you're indigenous from this land, which I'm both. Yeah. I think that a lot of our culture got taken away, the way that we've been educated, the way that we've been, just brought up in this country. This is my ode to say, no, I know who I am. I'm claiming it, and it is not heresy. I'm not being a heretic, and if people have a problem with it, you'll catch up. So that's why song's called Ancestral Worship, produced by my homeboy I grew up with, Joe T, the producer.
Joe T, the producer. Produced by Joe T, the producer, inspired by a dream from the ancestors, from your grandmother and all the above. So let's let the people hear something, all right? We're going to let the people hear Ancestral Worship by Rashad Eas.
Let's do it.
Had a dream. Had a dream, the ancestral realm. Grandma came to me. I was kneeling at her feet. She said, baby boy, what you doing? I miss you so much. I need you right now. She said, you got what you need, boy. I raised you in the South. Get up off your knees. I ain't your God, I'm your God. That's one of the reasons you got stronger after I died. I know that you miss me, but I don't miss you, baby. She said, you will get it when I return to the one that made me. But right now it ain't my time, and this is more than a rhyme. Be the leader that I fed and loved. Don't let them take your mind. You know they took my health, but my love is eternal. You got a job to do, follow these steps. What I got for you, make it drop. So your people know that they can stand. Make it rock like you did as a kid in the choir stand. Make it hot, gotta feel, can't touch this with your hand. Make it bounce, harder than Southern black gentleman. Make it drop. So your people know that they can stand. Make it rock like you did as a kid in the choir stand. Make it hot, gotta feel, can't touch this with your hand. Make it bounce, harder than Southern black gentleman. Make it do what it do, like Jamie and Ray. I got loyalty and royalty inside my DNA. Don't rock with 6ix9ine, but we do reciprocate. Only leaders, not complainers among my affiliates. This ain't just for me, but for those that walked a mile 8. This is my illusion self. I am him, he is Drake. Joe T, the producer. This is nothing like you used to, nothing basic about the cup, but you're the jack of all trades. Make it drop, yeah, so your people know that they can stand. Make it rock like you did as a kid in the choir stand. Make it hot, gotta feel, can't touch this with your hand. Make it bounce, harder than Southern black gentleman. Make it drop, so your people know that they can stand. Make it rock, like you did as a kid in the choir stand. Make it hot, gotta feel, can't touch this with your hand. Make it bounce, harder than Southern black gentleman. I only pay attention to those that can't afford me. It's hard to keep track of my wins, I keep on scoring. The champion winning, play off the strengths of my team and keep realness coming. My technique results in cream. Orgasmic, not plastic, organic. We back and with Frodo and Bilbo step in the ring for the action. Oh Lord, my God, why do I fight so hard? Shadow boxing with self, competition is Rashad. Make my vision come true, don't sell hope, I'm not Bob. Fame in that place got nothing on me, it won't make me fall. If the effort don't match the money, get another job. Need someone to pick you up, then you ain't playing your part. I know you check me out, cause you got an empty card. Can't be young forever, that simple son, you ain't barred. And this ain't just for the money, this for the love of the art. The branch come out on top, we will end where we start. Make it drop, yeah, so your people know that they can stand. Make it rock, like you did as a kid in the choir stand. Make it hot, gotta feel, can't touch this with your hand. Make it bounce, harder than Southern black gentleman. Make it drop, so your people know that they can stand. Make it rock, like you did as a kid in the choir stand. Make it hot, gotta feel, can't touch this with your hand. Make it bounce, harder than Southern black gentleman. I become Joe T, the producer.
That's right. That's right. Ancestral Worship. Ancestral Worship by Rashad Eas. Who was the producer on that?
Joe T, the producer.
Joe T,
Birmingham's finest.
Joe T, the producer. And I just got some information in, just hot off the presses. You actually had somebody from Artist Mills. You know what I'm saying? Soup.
He did the scratching for. Well, he was the engineer on it.
He was the engineer.
But he also added the scratches to it too. You know, I was like, I want this thing to be hip hop, man. I need that. So it was like, all right, pulled out his equipment and just started mixing it.
Wow. So, yeah. Wow. Shout out to Artist Mills. Shout out to Soup. Shout out to all that they're doing.
Y'all.
We might talk about that in a little bit more. So,
all right.
Yeah, speaking about that, so we're talking about your influences and, you know, kind of what your sound is, right? What your sound is. Earlier, you know, when you were talking about who you are, you were saying the music that we make. So talk about the we a little bit and you know, kind of what makes up the sound, because we're talking about, you know, people putting scratches on and different producers and stuff. What makes up the sound of Rashad Eas outside of yourself?
Definitely being from the South, I always have to say that because it goes back to that. You know, we love where we're from, but we're global, if you will. We play our own music. You know, we make it ourselves. So, like for example, Joe T, the producer, he and I were in the band together, played trombones together. So you know, so he's my guy from, like, I've known him the longest. We'll talk soon. I mean, play soon. Excuse me. Or another producer is DJ Green.
There we go.
DJ Green was a student of mine at Wolfpack at NC State. You know, he played football. You know, so he ain't nothing to mess with.
Yeah.
But he's a gentle giant, as I say. You know, just a loving man, love his son, and just, you know, that's my guy.
Yeah.
JS 20,000. JS 20,000 is another producer. He and I went to college together. Okay, so he and I, you know, we both were the nerds in our class. I had a big afro. He had a big afro. He had locks now. You know, he kept his hair. You know, mine ran from me. And so, you know, so to be able to make music in particular with friends, to have producers who are actually friends. The music has character and it has genuine love. Then you have B Godbody. That's now he and I basically in a group together. We call ourselves Great Minds.
There we go. Okay.
But you know, B really B is my favorite lyricist. I'm just gonna go on to be honest.
Really?
Like for me, B is like Royce the 5'9". B's on that level.
Yeah.
Like with, you know, like the Jizza, like he's on that level, like with Kendrick and Cole. Like that's how he raps. I listen to him and go, what? And then of course we have Talitha Rising, okay, and she's like very special, you know, to me. She's special to all of us, but you know, but also particularly to me. She's who we call our hook incubator. So if someone gets stuck on music, or if you got a track and you don't get it done, she will mess your track up. Okay, she will surprise everybody, and everybody sitting there like, what in the world? This come up in here rapping. She wasn't even supposed to get on the song. So you know, she shows up. So she's our secret weapon. And then a couple of here and there, like Psyche Much. That's that's our brother. That's in Tennessee. Of course, working with my friend Eternal, the MC, and then, you know, now being connected to Cypher University too. So what I'm going with all of this is the Easley branch started as me making music early 2000s. And when people saw that I was doing it, and of course my initial reason for wanting to do it was I wanted to lead people back to church at that time. Like people who didn't want to go, young people, unhoused people, you know, people of different cultures, to say that this is a place for you. But then as it started evolving, other people started coming along because they wanted to make music. So, you know, and you and I have, you know, our NC State connection, you know, so all my students who work with me, they know I love them. You know, I care for them. I expect a lot of them in their performance first. And then once they do that, it's like, okay, what you need. So long story short, our music comes from love, genuine care, a genuine relationship with each and everybody. We've all been through some hard stuff together. Not because we necessarily have fallen out, nothing like that. It's just that they were going through something, I was there. I was going through something, they were there. And you know, and we're still there for each other. So the name of the whole crew is Great Minds Alliance.
Great Minds Alliance.
Because we use our mind, we think. That's why the album's called Don't Overthink It, because you're dealing with geniuses.
Wow. That's a bar. That's a bar.
It is a bar.
Yeah.
As I'm raising the bar.
As you're raising the bar. Yeah. I appreciate that. And so, we have our connection in different ways. And so the reason I wanted to ask you about that is because we've had some conversations about all the people that are kind of connected to you.
Yes.
And connected with you, whether it's Great Minds Alliance or it's Easily Branch Music and just kind of all the things that you've been building over the course of 20 years,
Yes.
and over that amount of time. You spoke to it a little bit here. Is the why you got into this music, right? So, you talked about your grandma and going to church and being a part of that, playing trombone as a musician.
Yes.
And now we're talking about, you said it, about, bringing people in, and your students. Can you kind of expound on that a little bit about why you chose music as a way to do it?
When I was in college, I recently found out that I'm considered autistic. So you see, it's like when I start talking about it, you can see how my voice starts changing when I start thinking a certain way, or Or when I was in college, and I would listen to music when I took exams. I'd ask my professors if it was okay. Like I'd be taking a chemistry test, I'd be listening to the Alcoholics. I had to listen to that. If I'm taking a biometry test, which is stats, I was probably listening to Ice Cube, because him and KRS are like my favorite rappers of all time. It's always something that is encouraging. So, and of course, another big influence I want to mention is Dead Prez. The reason why I mention them, I was just hanging out with them a couple of weeks ago. I recognize how music really shaped how I think, but I was also intentional about what I listened to.
Wow.
Which is why I mentioned, like, say, Poor Righteous Teachers or something. I knew that I understand it more now, but I don't like the excuse of doing what you have to do, like how we kind of say a lot of times in our community. So there are a lot of us who could have made that choice to do that. I disagree with that, and I did not do that because I listened to things. I listened to Get Up, Get Out on Outkast's album. Get Up, Get Out and Get Something. Don't let the days of your life pass by. So I listened to the music, and it was instructive to me. And so that's why I wanted to make music that would, when I first started back, hardcore, I should say, it was to lead people or to bring people to church, because at the time I was an ordained deacon. I'm also an ordained minister, but I was an ordained deacon, and I love working with young people, obviously. And at that time, a lot of them were not coming to church, and I was like, well, why not? So when we would do exhibits at church and stuff, I would be the rapper. I would be the rapping deacon, even though I'm just expressing my skill. I would remake a DOA by Jay-Z, but put my spin to it. I would remake a Kendrick, song, and put my spin to it. And I started, and everybody noticed it at the church. Young people loved it, of all backgrounds, black, white, brown. They loved it. When we would go to NC State, being a professor and an administrator there, when people would see me perform, the students would lose their mind whenever I was on stage, whether it was Pack-a-Palooza or it was some event, they would just be like, whoa. And it's because they see their professor on stage rocking the mic, and he's not corny either. He's pretty freaking good. And so so that's the thing. We're going to be the best at what we do, all of the way. But the drive really is to do like what I felt the hip hop in particular did for me. I want to give you instruction. I want you to live your life and make better choices. That's not the music that is popular, but there's always time for wisdom. You'll come back to it.
Wow, man. I'm the radio host here, but I'm just sitting here listening to you talk and just taking it in, man. Like every time we have these conversations, it just gets a little bit deeper. Not in a deeper sense. I just learn a little bit more. And that's why I appreciate having these conversations. It's very enlightening and enriching in how you think and how you approach music, how you approach teaching people, how you approach life. Yes. And how you go about it. And that's what makes this conversation so interesting to me.
Thanks.
So we're talking about a lot of things here. If you're just joining in, I always do this at the middle point of this. If you're just joining in, look, I'm Cam. We're here with the RDU Live Show. We got Dr. Thomas Rashad Eas. I have to put a strong doctor on that thing, man, because you're also a musician. You're also an artist. You're so many things, and it's just so powerful to talk about. And we're just having a conversation. We're playing a little bit of music and doing our thing here. And look, when we're not playing music, when we are not playing music, the phone lines are wide open. That phone number is 919-899-9305. That's 919-899-9305. 9305. All right. If you want to call in, jump into the conversation, ask a question or two. The phone lines are open. We always have that there. When we're not playing music, when we're playing music, we gotta vibe out, right?
Here we go.
You got to vibe out. So it is a track that I do want to play coming out of that. It is a track that I do want to play. And you mentioned the name. You mentioned the name, Eternal the MC.
Yes.
Yes, you mentioned the name. And does Don't Change?
That's the name of the song.
Don't Change.
Don't Change.
Can you give us a little bit about that before we play it?
Gladly. Another song that's on the Don't Overthink It upcoming LP or album. And Eternal is my guy. I hope you don't mind me saying at least his first name. I won't say his last name, but his first name is Eshad, and my name is Rashad. So put the shards together, and we can make magic. If I would have thought about, well, I did think about it. Don't worry about it, but he's on I just put out a new single. He's also on Perfect Flow with me, and just to rock with another MC who is vicious, who's a bar lord, who is from Brooklyn, and who is serious about his craft.
Very serious about his craft.
But more importantly, man, he's a good dad. He's a good brother, and he's a good man. So to make music with a person who I have seen him show and prove, I love watching him perform. He's my other favorite MC because he brings so much brilliance to his sets. I'll be looking at him like, he reminds me why I do this, So I asked him if he would get on this song with me. Another one also produced by Joe T, the producer. And we wanted to make a song that was encouraging, especially going through whatever we're going through, coming out of the pandemic, dealing with the time that we're in, to tell people, don't change. I mean, grow. Because we're supposed to grow, evolve, mature, but don't change the essence of who you are, especially if it's, about love, light, and helping other people.
All right. I got a follow-up question in just a second.
Okay.
So stay tuned right after this. So Rashad Eas, Eternal the MC, Don't Change.
Don't change. Needed inspiration, question your existence. No name brand clothes, pants tight, you a misfit. Hungry for some bread while boys packing biscuits with bow rounds, no cheese, Bojangles, stick-ups. Heard some make sense of it. We struggling hungry. Life's about choices. When it's family, it ain't funny. I still laugh at the pain with a heart bigger than Kevin. I ain't that tall either. Strong package, big weapon. You in the presence of greatness. Shard on your playlist. Eternal or Ease, like the drummer and the bassist. Green engineers it. Joe T made it. See all that together, I'd also be anxious. Get high naturally, injected with the acid. LSD, line so deep, spit bars in the tablet. Right pages, proverbs, I'm living bread for the soul. Dean's list and sight for you, that's an on the road. There you go.
You don't even have to change the freckle up, no. Oh, I love all the ways you make me laugh with all your jokes. Please don't change the way you are. 'Cause I'm in love with
I said change is inevitable. As you climb levels, you gotta keep your core beliefs tangible to remember who you are when you came here. Purpose should remain clear. Handle your soul with care. Even if you change gears, know where you going for you get there. Feel the emotions, even shed tears. Astral projection so you won't feel weird when the spiritual meets the physical. Be inspired knowing your paradise is right here for you. Ask me how I know. I live through the ebbs and flows. Vision board covers walls, focused to accomplish goals. Knowing that I'm not alone, feeling strength in numbers. Hearing testimonies of the grind keeps my hunger right where it needs to be. Pray, meditate, and breathe. God is all I really need. And family like Brother Ease, educating minds to be the best that they could be. If this song's a university, we gotta be the deans.
you don't even have to change the freckle up, no. Oh, I love all the ways you make me laugh with all your jokes. Please don't change the way you are. 'Cause I'm in love with where you are.
Don't change, don't change, don't change. Don't Change by Rashad Eas, featuring Eternal the MC.
Yes, them horns.
That's a soulful track. That's a soulful track. And if you know anything about me, you know I like soulful tracks.
Hey,
you know, when I go into the lab and make a little bit of music, I'm usually sampling something from the 70s. So that's where I kind of live at right there.
That's it.
So when I hear the horns like that, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm
man,
at.
You got to have it, man. You got to have it.
Got to have it. That was Don't Change by Rashad Eas featuring Eternal the MC. Look. So we were kind of talking off mic. Something I wanted to ask you about. This is something I think about a lot that I haven't figured out an answer to. But we've been talking about, you know, you're multifaceted, right? And you're a musician, you're an artist, and I keep bringing that up for a lot of different reasons. But you're also a doctor. When I say doctor, I'm not just joking here. You're an actual PhD.
Yes, sir.
And you've been a professor. You've done a lot of different things coming from Alabama. You've taught at NC State, Iowa, all of these different places. Mm-hmm. Coming off of this track and this concept of Don't Change, one of the things I asked you about off mic is, what's the difference between changing and evolution? Because you know we have to live in these places where you know I can't get this up and I can't not be who I am, but I also need to operate in different worlds and code switch. That's a thing. Mm-hmm. How do you evolve as a person but not change who you are?
Okay. How you evolve it? Okay, so I guess now the way you asked it, I have to rethink what I was getting ready to say. Okay,
I had to throw you a little bit.
That was good. Okay, so to me, change is probably more so constant. Okay, because it's like you changed up on me. You know, a shift happens, something, you know, that you can almost like see, and in some ways probably like instantly feel. You know, a change happened. To me, evolution or evolving is, and don't get me wrong, it's almost like, to me, evolution is like saying that something's happening over time. Mm-hmm. See, so you know, so when I said the change, like change can be, I think, constant, and change can also be considered over time, and to me, I think that's what I would call evolution. And so when I'm evolving, I think that I am becoming, or evolving to me means like an understanding is happening. The manifestation is the change that you see.
Yeah. Oh,
okay?
Wow.
So
Okay.
to me, you know, I think that evolution in many ways is probably something that's more emotional and mental. Okay, but the result of it you see in the actions, and that's the change. See, I'll give you an example. I said when I first started making the music, the drive was to bring more people, you know, in the church. And I still respect the church, but, you know, I'll be honest, I'm challenged with the church because I think that there are a lot of, there's just a lot of, I was going to say like unknowns. There are a lot of things that people don't know, a lot of egoism in it. And I also think that there in some ways a lot of evil in it too, you know, because people use it for their agenda. So I started because I wanted to bring people back because that was a place that I was, you know, that I've been heavily involved in, heavily engaged in worship there. As time went and I continued my studies, I started evolving. I started realizing that for me, and I'm not trying to proselytize and get, you know, super religious, but I started realizing that a lot of ways that religion itself kind of works, don't get me wrong, because there are people who do the opposite of what I'm about to say, so I'm speaking in general. You have to accept something that you probably can't even really think on your own. You have to accept what's been given to you. So I have a problem hearing about a God that can never hate me, but you can get jealous. That doesn't compute to me. See, that doesn't compute to me. I have a problem. I mean, I'm just saying, because I'm like, God is bigger than that. So, I mean, the Bible in Isaiah 55, 8 and 9, it says, you know, my ways are higher than your ways. So then why would you get jealous? Why? If you created everything, you created the devil, then that's your problem. You know, now I know for a lot of people, especially if they're Christian, you know, maybe any other organized religion, that's probably tough to hear. I sound like a heretic. I sound like a lot of things, you know, and I say it's not my fault that you don't think on your own. And that's where I go with that. Like I said, I'm not here to tell you I'm not telling you what to think, but I will help you with how to think.
Yeah.
I'll help you with that. The same way that Dr. Huey P. Newton did it in the 70s and Bobby Seale with the Panthers, I'll help you with that now. And I think that we need liberation. instead of just getting together with the congregation. Don't get me wrong, I'm about getting with people, but we need some liberation now. And I don't think that religion overall has been used for that purpose, especially within the last, I'll say like two centuries. So yes, I speak out against it. It's in my music, and I will converse with anyone when I feel like it. About it.
Yeah.
So meaning if people are disagreeing with it, that's fine. Leave a comment.
Leave a comment. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, but if you want to talk, then let's talk.
Let's
I'd
talk.
rather, like converse.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that thought process of I forget how you said it. It's I can teach you how to think, not necessarily what to think.
Yeah.
And it's giving people the tools to do that and think for themselves. And whatever conclusions you come out with that is where you come.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. And I appreciate the concept of changing. I was going to go somewhere exactly where you went. The change, when you change, it's like this turn on a dime thing.
Yeah.
But evolution, like you said, is over time. It's how you become who you are over time, or whatever it is, and that will look different over time. So right,
Yeah.
so there will things will change.
And what I rapped about is what changed.
Yeah.
See how I would bring people to church, that changed. I would bring people in, but see how they would get insulted at times, and sometimes challenged. Just like in ways, and I'm like, this is supposed to be a place about love. Why is this going on? But when I look at the doctrine, I'm like, it makes sense. Why it's going on. It's like sometimes we'll give elders a pass, but then we'll be hard on young people. So then you wonder why a lot of times young people are hard on elders.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, it's like, I didn't like going to a place where they talked about God, and then I would listen to people who I really respected talk about other people, gossiping. I'm like, that's an abomination. What are you doing? Why are you talking about them? But I didn't say that to people. What I do now is I always check myself. If I get mad at something that someone's doing for me, I'm probably doing it. But if they're doing it, and so that's why the things I'm talking about, I don't get mad about, because I'm like, I don't do that. I don't tease people. I don't gossip about people. I don't do that. So my change was, I'm not going to now invite you to come to this church. I'll bring the church to you. I'll come where you are.
Wow.
And that's how the music shifted too. Like, I'll come there. I'll bring the Most High as best I can to you. But that's because I know I'm going to be enriched being with you.
Yeah. The goal's the same. It's just the methods sometimes change, and you evolve. You evolve.
That's it.
You evolve. No, I love how I know I threw you a curveball. I gave you on the first half of this. You're just joining now. The first half, I was throwing you softballs. I had to give you a curveball on that one.
Did I hit it out the ball?
You still got it. You still got it.
Okay,
you still got it. You still got it. I can't do that with everybody, but I can do that with the doctor. But so we got a couple more music tracks. We're getting down to the last half of this thing, but it's a couple more tracks in here that I just want to hit on one of them. We got a hell of a ride.
So you're gonna play it? Oh,
you're
gonna play it?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
Yeah, it's in here. We gotta load it up.
Oh wow. Okay.
How you feel about that? I can go to the next one.
No, I'm feeling good. It's different because no one's ever. This will be the first time. Because it's a song that's on the album. DJ Green produced it, and it's a cleared sample.
We break records on the RDU Live Show, baby. So I ain't scared to play it.
Let's play it because it would have been a single. It could be. So we'll see. Let's see how people feel about it. Oh my goodness. Here we go.
Let's see how people feel about "Hell of a Ride" by Rashad Eas.
Hell of a ride, good times riding with ease. Hell of a ride, good times riding with ease. Eyelids open, ceiling fan spinning. You on that morning breath to my left, yeah, she grinning. Are we gon' talk? Can we sleep, little princess? If we gon' talk, I gotta get back to business. That's not to shut you down, I just got to get it. It's a celebration today, so the vibe is on the exquisite. And I'm in a peaceful mood, and I wanna hear crickets. I wanna have a good time in my mind and live it. Feel it, smell it, inhale and exhale it. Rather make it the smoke of the green, you'll have to relish. Took a long time for self-care to become my fetish. More love, more work with my family, where I'm headed. You New Jersey, stay gassed up and you can pump unleaded. Pull off big game when blows, feeling down, dog to stretch it. This ride is not derailing, cause focus is embedded. That's how we'll be when Sharp and Green together get the message. Hell of a ride, good time riding with ease. Hell of a ride, good time riding with ease. Hell of a ride, good time riding with ease. Hell of a ride, good time riding with ease. Eyelids closing, yes, I'm grinning. I am floating, elevated, and it's not dependent on anything external. This that vibe, I had to get it. Not sure how long it will last in the circle where I'm living, but keep it on the up, that's not easy. Make it my mission. Feed myself good things, say what you never heard. Nutrition, calories of healing, and take enough satisfaction. When I digest what I envision, I cannot be living. That's a lie and the truth, I'm about to give it. Let the grass touch your feet, it's called balance, it's not tripping. Understand that we've been disconnected and all our living won't claim without our own. Not making prison dominion in the sunshine where we spend in the shadows where we building. Melanin is secure, I'm not arguing about my privilege. I love myself too much, you let you dead in what I'm getting. Stand on too many shoulders, too small, don't you get it? Don't you get it? Don't you get it? Hell of a ride, good time riding with ease. Hell of a ride, good time riding with ease. Hell of a ride, good time riding with ease. Hell of a ride, good time riding with ease.
Hell of a ride. I'm gonna jump on the track with you. That's right. That's hell of a ride. That's hell of a ride by Rashad Eas.
Wow. Thank you, Brother McCarty. They were playing that.
Yes, sir. Had to let the people hear.
Wow.
Had to let the people hear. We talking about the whole scope of who you are, all your artistry, all your music, the different levels to it, man. Different levels. We're talking about evolution. We're talking about change and different things.
Yeah, true.
You gotta let the people listen.
That's
Let the
different
people
one,
listen.
too.
That was hell of a ride by Rashad Eas. We're having a conversation right here on the RDU Live Show. I'm your host, Cam McCarty. We're getting to the bottom of this thing. We're sitting across from the doctor himself, Thomas Rashad Easley.
What up?
Rashad Eas. So,
Yes, sir.
this is the part of the show where we talk about where the people can find you at. Where people can find you. I know you got some music out. You know, we're playing some of it now. But I want the people to know, you know, all your social media handles, your websites, where your music is, all that good stuff. I know you got some merch out there that's sitting on the table right here. If you're watching online, you can kind of see it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I want you to let the people know who you are and where they can find you at.
Okay. Just real quick, if I can just do something for 10 seconds.
Go
If I
for it.
can
It's your time. It's your time.
I just want to also give a shout out to Christopher Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
because he's our designer who does our album covers and does our T-shirt design.
right.
And then my
Okay.
cousin Michelle Williams out of Atlanta, because she makes all the T-shirts. So we don't do this alone. You know, it's a
Mm-hmm.
full operation. And it's not just based here in North Carolina. Okay, all right. So I just wanted to do that. 'cause,
Yeah,
you know,
no,
Chris
this-
is
no.
at, you know, top of my mind too.
That's what it's about.
Okay. So you can find me on Instagram at either Dr.Thomas Rashad Easley, especially if you want to engage on the scholarship part or any other stuff that I was saying. Mm-hmm. You can also find me at Easley Branch Music, but that's where you'll also find me, B, Joe T, Green, JS 20,000, and so you know, so that's where you can try to engage with all of us. You can find us on our website, theeasleybranch.com. Okay, if you want to talk to me about other stuff, mindheartfordiversity.com, because I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, I'm an author, I'm a writer, I'm a consultant, I'm a speaker, I'm a public speaker.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I do a number of things, so you can find me there. And then if you want to reach out to us to connect on some other things, info@easleybranch.com.
info@easleybranch.com.
That's where you can find us. That's it. Keep it simple for you.
You got a lot going on, man, in a very, very positive way. In a positive way, like I don't think you really understand the many facets that you have are all productive, and doing something productive and positive. All those P words, productive, positive, all those things, and that's why I wanted you to kind of to say all those and where they can find you at. And there, we got to the tip of the iceberg on your scholarship. Yeah. Right. Yes, and who you are as I keep talking about it, as a doctor, as a professor, as an academic, yes, and that breadth of life that you have there. So, we focused on the music, but there's a whole nother piece of it, the public speaking and forestry.
Yes.
I'm
your outdoors guy. Hip hop forestry. I'm the one who coined that and made that. Bring hip hop to forestry, forestry to hip hop.
Hip hop forestry. We got a couple minutes. What does that mean, real quick? What does that mean? We got a couple minutes. I want to.
Well, so hip hop to me is about brilliance, but also at times it can be, partying, having a good time, but resistance and revolution, I feel, because of the way that it was put together.
Right.
To help the youth out of New York, of course, the Bronx first before they spread it.
Right.
And so I look at hip hop. I've already said what hip hop did for me. It's instructive. It's brilliant. Okay, but forestry is a field that I majored in. It's something I went to school for. I've worked in it, got certified in it, all of this stuff. And I feel that just like hip hop music is so important to all of us, the land is the most important thing. Yeah. The Most High is not giving us no more land, just like we're not getting no more water. So when I was I've been the dean at Yale, and also when I was at NC State. That's not a flex, just facts. But when I was there, people would talk about the environment and talk about how folks, in particular who look like you and me, but other folks poor, whatever. How we were. I'm so sorry that I just had the word and then it just left, but it's like we are overly exposed to Islamic issues. The issue I had is that they were also saying like we don't care about it, we don't know enough about it. So I'm like, wait a minute. So I decided, no, let me show you how we do know, and that's why I made the song Hip Hop Forestry, because I wanted to show that the problem isn't that the people don't care. The issue is that you talk about it the way that you talk about it.
Yeah.
That's all. And so if you learn how to either improve your vocabulary the same way that they want to say sometimes we need to be able to communicate and be a bridge, and maybe make a connection. So the song Hip Hop Forestry, one is about what people, like all of us in the studio go through. The second thing is a part of the song is about making sure that I also bring in other cultures and other ideals, in particular from the indigenous community, which was here on Turtle Island before any of us were here. So I talk about the principles of land stewardship, and then how we're really related to the trees. A tree is not something that's just, it helps us to breathe.
Yeah.
So we're connected to that. We're connected to the land. We're the color of the soil. So that's what it's about. It's about letting people know that our community is and has always been a part of what goes on in the outdoors. We care about it. It is impacted by us, and just a great way is to bring these two modalities or these two things together: hip hop and forestry.
Hip hop forestry. Hip hop forestry. That's you coined the term. That's not something that you hear about. Those two things coming together a lot, and just a very layman's way of doing it for myself is, my two favorite genres are hip hop and country, right? And like you have this concept that country, that's related to, to the land and, to going fishing, exactly. You relate going fishing to country and then you put them together. And so I like the way you did that, and you just you put your passions together. Look, Doctor, I appreciate you for having this conversation with us today. I appreciate you for all that you're doing and the music that you're putting out and the heart that you have for connecting with people and putting things together, and just thank you. Thank you for doing this today.
Yes, sir. Thank you too.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Look, he already gave you guys all of his contact information. What was the info at?
info@easlybranch.com.
info@easlybranch.com. You can always message him there and find out all the stuff that he has going on and communicate right there. Look, we appreciate you. We appreciate the listeners out there for sticking with us and listening to some good music, listening to some good conversation. Look, the RDU Live Show, we're here every Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. right here on Oak 93.5. I think next week we got Tyra Lynn. She's going to be on, and she has, no, I'm sorry, Richie Nelson. We got so many hosts on this platform because we try to cover the whole gamut of things. We got Richie Nelson July 8th. That's right. Richie Nelson's going to be here. He's going to have a guest on and doing his thing, Rich Radio. We got a jam-packed month for you. Once again, Tyra, she will be on. And then we have our RDU Live playlist show at the end of the month. It's a jam-packed month for us. The weather's heating up. So make sure you're staying safe. Make sure you yeah.
Is it here?
Yeah, it is here. It is here. Make sure you're staying safe, drinking that water, putting some fans on you. Getting them fans out, as they say. And, do what you got to do to make sure you're staying safe and taking care of yourself out there. Look, we're gonna let you have it this evening. We got DJ T Wild coming up with his mix. We got Cocktail Conversations coming up after that at 8 p.m. Stay tuned right here on Oak 93.5. It's been the RDU Live Show right here on Oak 93.5. I'm your host, Cam. And like I like to say, let's go live.
It's for everybody. Come on in. When I say more, you say bounce. More bounce, more bounce. When I say more, you say bounce. More bounce, more bounce. Front, back, side to side. Rock with me, move left to right. Down on the floor or the balcony. Like what you hear, get your hands up high. Rock with the best, I'm a mastermind. Moving too slow, I leave your behind. Ain't heard what I said, this about that time. So dance with me, get your works in line. Front, back, side to side. All I wanna do is have fun tonight. Don't work too hard like pump and grind. Don't rush perfection, gotta take our time. Don't tell all the secrets through the grapevine. Well, I heard about greatness, so it takes time. But when you don't like it, then it ain't mine. You can't stop now, cause it ain't break time. Go front, back, side to side. Don't matter if you black and white. Long as you true, keep your actions nice. Yeah, we keep it hot and we make it ice. Moving in the dark and we bring the light. Where the ladies at, on the right side. Where my fellas play in the day, night time. When it's time to handle biz, yo, we make time. Go front, back, side to side. Front, back, side to side. Front, back, side to side. Front, back, side to side.
Community Radio, WRLYLP.